This is insane. I cannot believe this is at the Disneyland Hotel.
Would you look at the size of this room?
I cannot believe this. I want this. I want to take this and I want to burn a town down so bad now. Well, so far so good. She's still running. And we're back at Disneyland and it feels so good to be home. Gosh, it feels like I haven't been down here in so long. I missed the whole beginning of the Halloween season because I was in Canada still. And then since I've been back, I've been quite ill, as a matter of fact. I never thought I'd come home to California and end up at Horror Nights at Universal before checking out Disney Halloween. Actually, when I first got back, I did go in to Oogie Boogie Bash, but there was no video. I couldn't even make it through the full night. I was quite ill, as a matter of fact, but more on that later. I may have gone into DCA, but this is my first time coming back to Disneyland since they put up their Halloween time seasonal decor, and I'm ready. You know, if you think about it, Disneyland opened in 1955, just 10 years earlier. The bomb was dropped on Japan. World War II was coming to an end. Literally millions of people from all over the world had suffered tragedy and heartbreak and the unspeakable reality of the horrors of war and were traumatized. And that is the context in which Walt Disney came up with the idea of Disneyland, because if he knew one thing, it's that there was plenty of reality out there to spare, and what the American psyche needed, not just kids, but kids of all ages, was some place to play. As a good friend of mine who was a cast member for many decades once said, it is all about that berm surrounding the park, and once you walk through this tunnel, past the berm, you sort of shed reality. You can let your cares go away just for one magical day, which is exactly why the plaque over the archway says, here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. And I don't know if you've been watching the news for, the last 25 years, but there is a lot of real world out there that every once in a while, you just have to take a break from. Not that real life is important, you know, but it's like working out. Sometimes you gotta have those rest days to recover your strength and your sanity, and that's what I've always tried to do with Randomland. That's why we don't do politics or religion. Try to keep things a nice break from the norm. And in that spirit, I've come down to fulfill my Disney reservation today. And look at this, get my first glimpse of the season of my old pal, Winky, Blinky, Mickey. Hey, but look at this. Something is coming towards us down Main Street. Oh, I think it's the 70th anniversary cavalcade. No, wait a minute. This is something different. It's a little Halloween time cavalcade. They're singing a little trick-or-treat song. Look at this. They got Halloween Goofy and Pluto with this Halloween collar riding on the fire truck over here. What's up, Goofy? Looking good, Pluto. And then look at this little Halloween float with Donald, Chip and Dale, Mickey and Minnie are up there. This is cool. I've never seen this one before. Oh, that is cool. Oh, look at Chip right there. Oh, Minnie and Mickey. This is awesome. Oh, I like how they have the little Mickey candy buckets right there in the street. What's up, Genie? Genie! I love the cavalcades. You know, they're less expensive than a parade. They go by faster. You get to see all your favorite characters. Like, look at that. There's Pocahontas down there. Hello, Pocahontas. Geppetto! It's Geppetto! Oh, look at this. They got a whole bevy of villainous characters out here. I love how Cruella de Vil is getting a ride. No walking for Cruella de Vil.
Jenny!
What?
The camera loves me!
Please, you got Lady Tremaine and her daughters. Oh my, oh, Gaston is out here. That is so cool. My favorite of all the villains. Captain James Hook. See, I love stuff like that. Gives you exactly what you want in a nice, tight package. And the cool thing about cavalcades is they're so much less complicated than parades that they can do them more times in a day than your traditional parade. Just something about walking into a Disney park and then seeing all the characters greeting you right there on Main Street. That was perfect timing. Anyway, the reason I brought up all that stuff earlier about reality and taking a break is that I myself have had a lot of reality lately. You remember I told you I was a little too ill to make it through Oogie Boogie Bash. First year ever since they started it that I haven't done a video on opening night. I missed opening night because I was in Canada, came back and had another night. I missed that too. And that is because for the past year, I've been incredibly sick. And when I say sick, I mean like bleeding internally sick. Last year, I underwent a procedure because they thought I might have colon cancer. There was a bunch of holes in me that they had to patch up. But it looks like they weren't all got. So for the past year, on and off, I've been suffering some ailments, let's put it that way. Like I said, it's been off and on, mostly off, so I've been okay most of the time. But lately, it's gotten a whole lot worse. And in fact, at times I've been losing so much blood that I'm dizzy, lightheaded, can't walk around, can't do anything. That's what happened with the Oogie Boogie situation. But now, for better or for worse, I've got an appointment with the surgeon next week to schedule some surgery on me. Not my favorite thing to hear, but you know what? One, I'm sure it'll all work out. And two, that's why I'm glad I'm inside Disneyland at the moment. I can pass through the berm, shed those cares for just an hour or two, have a little walkabout. Because today, anyway, I finally have enough strength to do a little walking around, and for that, I feel incredibly grateful. Dude, who knew not having any blood in your body could affect you so badly? Anyway, although it is Halloween time, I feel like that's enough talking about blood. Time to think about something else. Look at this. Look at the little cart here selling the pickles. I've never seen this sign before. Disneyland pickles are a delight. I love little things like that, especially if it's anything you've never seen before. Oh, look at this. They got the 70th anniversary cotton candy right next to the Halloween time cotton candy. Looks like they have some Halloween bubble blowers out here right next to the little 70th anniversary mini balloons. It's our first season where we're sort of into half anniversary, half seasonal offerings. Actually kind of worked out for the best that this is the first day I was able to make it down here. So I don't know if you can see these plants moving. It's the first day we've had kind of a fall weather breeze. A heat wave that we've had going on at least has this nice little temporary break in it. The air feels just a little bit crisp. It's always nice to see Halloween things when it feels like Halloween outside. We always start Halloween so early now, you know. The first Oogie Boogie is like kind of in early August. It begins in the scorching hot summer weather. Then of course Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios just started last week. Not Scary Farm is not far behind. They're gonna start their Halloween extravaganza next week, all in September. And on the one hand, I get all excited, like I wanna check it all out while it's all brand new and fresh. And some of those opening nights I get invited to, you know, and I'm not gonna turn down a good time at a hunt, but it can be kind of hard not to get burned out on Halloween like a month before it actually happens. So in a way, it's kind of nice that the timing worked out the way it did. Oh my gosh, and it looks like it wasn't just the weather and my health that made this a perfect day to come down here. That is the shortest line for Pirates of the Caribbean that I have seen in a while. Especially for the early afternoon like this. This is usually peak time for Pirates. Oh heck yeah, dude, I'm climbing aboard. Just look at this. Look at this no line right here. Yo ho, yo ho. A pirate's life for me. So sweet, dude. Unbelievable. It's hard to say because every attraction feels like my favorite attraction at Disneyland. But I think, especially in childhood, Pirates of the Caribbean had to be #1 in terms of like rides with a story. Chucky? Pirates of the Caribbean was the one that like after I went home from a day at the parks when I was a kid, like maybe it was a birthday or something like that, I would play Pirates of the Caribbean for weeks. I'd pretend my top bunk on my bunk bed was a deck of a pirate ship. I always wanted to buy every pirate souvenir, like those little rubber shackles or the little rubber knives or the old wooden guns. In fact, I have a pair of old vintage rubber shackles at home in my office right now. I just always loved that escape into the blue bayou and beyond, into the world of the Pirates of the Caribbean. In fact, when I turned 21, my first legal adult beverage was in Lafitte's blacksmith shop. It's a tavern in New Orleans that was an old blacksmith shop for an actual real pirate. I wanted my first drink to be pirate themed. All right, look at this. I got row 5 all to myself. Oh, I always loved this ride. Look at that. Instantly transported to another time and place. Kind of making me miss Louisiana. Haven't been back there in a long time. I always wanted to do like a pirate themed backyard, like put those metal bars over the windows like a fortress, and I always wanted to do like a pirate-themed backyard, like barrel tables and stuff like that. You'd be surprised how expensive barrels are. Weird.
Keep a weather eye open, mates. Hold on tight. But both hands.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Ooh. Little moisture in the groin. Dude, I still feel like I'm 7 years old every time I ride this. If I ever won the lottery, I would build a basement like this. Except for all of this water would be hot tub action. I remember that old NES game, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, where you get to like walk through some of Pirates, you know? How sick would that be? I've never done it, not in this park anyway. Ooh. One-eyed Willie, is that you? No, that guy had 2 eyes. He had 2 eyes, confirmed. Just make your move already. So freaking awesome. I've always loved that this little piano right here is haunted. Is that a piano? A piano forte? It's not an organ. What is it? It's got to have some kind of special name. It has a very unique sound, that's for sure. Oh, yeah, I could use some of that stuff. Ooh, one of my favorite things ever is that they put this audio back in here and made this tunnel dark again. For the longest time, it was Davy Jones. They put it back to its original creepy form, with one addition, of course.
You may not survive to pass this way again.
This little pirate hanging out with his treasure and the little octopus at his feet. Kind of similar to Disneyland Paris. Dude, there it is. Nothing was more epic than this in my childhood. Nothing I saw with my own eyes anyway. Behold, the wicked wench.
We're not afraid of you!
Oh yeah, dude. So awesome. Oh, this is cool. The last time I was in here, that projection up there wasn't working. I always liked that little sword fight projection going on up there on the other side of the fort. Oh, and then my favorite scene, I always loved the flute-playing pirate, the flautist. Like, why does he have to pipe people aloft? That's so weird. You ever notice how they're dressed like Hook and Smee right there? A little Hook and Smee tribute, perhaps? Oh, this guy's still here. And the old redhead. I always like that they have a crate of oranges over there. A little nod to Anaheim history, maybe. I love these guys. I hope they get their rub. Dude, like every scene, every costume, every prop, it's all so iconic.
Here I be, holding the
So
treasure.
freaking cool. Johnny Depp? Actually, I might take a friend up on an invite that he gave me today. This pirate ride has inspired me. I was just informed that there are some actual props from inside this ride going up for sale again in one of those auctions. I've been invited to go take a peek today. Always love those two drunks right there leaning on each other. Got the hat guy in the boat. But also this old drunk up here with that torch. I always wondered, did he start the fire? Is he the arsonist? Or was it the pig guy? Or the guy with the jug on fire up here? Somebody did it. Somebody did it. Oh yeah, man. Talk about iconic scenes that just live in your head forever. I actually love scenes like this with the creaking roof and the burning embers and the logs. I just love feeling like I'm inside the story. By the way, we've been stuck here for like 5 minutes. Just started moving again. But it felt nice to be in the air conditioning, I'll tell you that much. Love me some good old-fashioned pirates. Good old Mark Davis, man.
I humbly accept this magnificent treasure as my reward for a life of villainy, larceny,
And that's it. Back to the surface. Oh, we're gonna ram them. Oh my gosh, it's so bright out there. Yes, sir, just like Tom Sawyer, I always wanted to grow up to be a pirate. That's why I got the van back, you know. That was the closest thing to being a pirate back in the day, was being in a band and touring the country in a van, you know, hoping you'd roll into some town, do a show, and leave with some treasure. But more often than not, just maybe getting a little free rum and leaving town, licking your wounds. But it was awesome, the good parts of it. Traveling around the country with a crew, you know. The van was your home. It was like your pirate ship. I was wondering what was going on, dude. Why the gathering out here? Why the crowd size? It's the new Jack Skellington. He's in there. Jack and Sally meeting and greeting. Love that new head they gave him. He looks so rejuvenated, youthful, renewed. I wish they could do that to me. Oh, dude, speaking of bands being like pirates, look at that. I love that. Oh, look at that. Captain Jack Sparrow's up there. Look at that outfit, dude. He always looks cool. It must smell horrible, though. He's always wearing those same clothes. Oh, well, wait a minute. Anyway, as I was trying to mention inside the ride, and hopefully you heard me, I've been invited to go look at some Disney props from the parks that are going up for auction soon. From what I've been told, there are some Pirates of the Caribbean pieces in this upcoming auction. I wasn't sure if I was gonna head down there. I've been taking it kind of day by day, you know. So I came down here first just to kind of walk around and see if I had the energy. Now I'm like, inspired, you know. I want to touch a piece of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, look at that. The Haunted Mansion, all decked out for the Haunted Mansion holiday. My first time seeing it like this year. It's also my first time seeing this for a while. The old barn. Still just not used to it. I'm waiting for that day when it's like, oh yeah, there it is. And it doesn't like, whoa. Oh dude, look at this. Mark Twain parked over here, perhaps for a little maintenance. I love me the Mark Twain riverboat. I love seeing this sign over here. That is cool. I love when Disney actually leans into being educational, even in the slightest ways. That was a big deal for Walt Disney, you know? The education of the youth. There's something about this epic steamboat. Like, it's built to scale. It's smaller than the real steamboats would have been, but it still feels absolutely enormous. You know, I'm a big Mark Twain fan, a big fan of that era of American history, in the sense that we were all just scrambling around trying to figure it out, all the pioneers, everybody just trying to learn to live together, something that us Americans are still trying to figure out. I just want to say, no matter how dark times get in our country, or how at each other's throats people can seem to be, having traveled across the country back and forth for 25 plus years, having stayed with people all over the country and driven through 49 of the 50 states, I still have Alaska to go. I can tell you there's a lot more good in this country than bad, a lot more loving people, good people than bad people, and a lot more light than darkness. Seems like something that for the last few decades nobody wants to hear. I'm telling you right now, that's the truth. And a place like Disneyland could have only been born out of that light, you know? Part of what I love about this place so much. The fantasy, the escape, the mental break from the problems of the real world. And just that reminder that there are creative forces out there. There's still a world full of imagination and creativity and light. That's why for a lot of people, Disneyland becomes their therapy, you know? It can be a very healing place to visit for the mind, the soul, the heart, the imagination, pretty much everything except the wallet. By the way, speaking of Disneyland props and Disneyland history, have you guys ever noticed this at the exit to the canoes, just down at the bottom of the steps? See that life preserver down there? See what it says? Bertha May. It's the old keelboat's life preserver. Well, it's probably not from the old keelboat, the Bertha May, but that is an awesome reference to the old keelboats, and of course, by extension, speaking of pirates, Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. All right, well, I'm gonna take a shortcut across the park here. I'm getting hungry. Since I ain't allowed to swim across the rivers of America, I'm gonna head around the loop via Star Wars land. Oh my gosh, look at this. We got a Star War here. Ooh, another Star War. The last time I saw a Star War like this, I was in the Smithsonian. Dude, I always want to buy like the old school X-Wing helmet so bad. I never know why. I never know what I would do with it. I want it. I don't know why. See, that's how they get you. Two things have always been on my bucket list: to have Stormtrooper armor, which I finally have. I just need some help assembling it. It's not put together, not finished. And to have a Darth Vader helmet. And I finally got that too. A Darth Vader replica helmet. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm coming around the corner, and there's another Star War out here. It's Kylo's Bay Rey. Oh, are we not saying Bay anymore? Dang it. Star Wars, the magic of Star Wars, wonderful star, Porg's waiting for you. What the heck, dude? I want to dress up like a Jedi. Ooh, or maybe like this. Sexy Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi. Oh, look at that. The chain is broken. The shawarma isn't spinning. This guy's still working away. Darn AI droid. This is so weird though, dude, because when I'm not in Star Wars town and I haven't been through in a while, I always forget that it exists. Not at Hollywood Studios in Florida, but here at Disneyland, I always forget that Star Wars Land is here. So every time I come see the Millennium Falcon, it's like, ooh, I get the chills, like it's the first time again. This is what I mean about coming out to Disneyland or going on a road trip or going to a nice museum or any of those things, but especially any place where you're really looking at works of art or fantasy. It's nice getting a break from that endless social media feed or the news, or a break from my health problems and worrying about being exsanguinated, and coming down to think about how Oga's Cantina looks like Donald Duck, or worrying about buying an X-Wing helmet or thinking about Darth Vader or whatever. It's like taking a break to drink that cool glass of water, refresh you, get back into the many fights and struggles in the real world. All right, anyway, time for me to fuel up, get some grub, and start thinking about going from Disneyland, where I can look at all the amazing creativity, to going somewhere where I can put my hands on it. People are still doing their keys. Still doing the keys. Hey, look at that. Love seeing the trains go by. We're so quiet here today. Look, it's so chill. Oh, look at this. The Casey Jr. circus train is closed. It's all boarded up. It says Casey Jr. circus train is closed today and on track to return soon. Oh wow, that's some serious refurbishment going on right here. Look at that, they got all the walls up, the scrims and everything over the station, which was the old ticket booth, by the way. Side note, look at the planters. They do such an amazing job with all the planters and the flowers here. Like the landscaping crews for Disneyland do such an incredible job. I feel like they almost never get talked about, so shout out to the groundskeepers. Interested to see if Storybook, yes! Look at this, the Storybook Land canal boats are also down. Maybe the canals are undergoing a little restoration as well. Dude, even Monstro is all covered up. Maybe he's gone. Maybe they had to give Monstro a vacation, huh? See, whenever they do this and they put up these like foam core signs on here, what happens to them afterwards? Why can't I want some? So much like crazy stuff always leaves the park and I wonder, how the heck did that get out of there? How can I get some of that? Well, I guess the answer is those auctions, but I mean the people that get that stuff in the first place, how is it done? Oh, there goes the monorail. That's my friend Adam. I can never say that now without thinking of my buddy Adam. Adam the Woo. He says it different. He goes, there goes the monorail. Dude, I almost never get to eat it, so I'm gonna order a couple of gluten-free fries. Ooh, and at Galactic Grill, you can finally order Mr. Pibb. Just checked, and I've actually been out here now for 2 hours. Most of the time on my feet, which is pretty good. It's already like triple the time I've been able to be on my feet all week. So today, a pretty good day, a pretty good day. Also, speaking of gut trouble, probably shouldn't be eating French fries and soda, gluten-free or not. But I think I'm gonna have to go on a pretty restrictive diet, even more than normal soon. So, you know, while alive, live, as my friend Bob Gurr would say. And that guy built the People Mover, so he knows what he's talking about. I always feel so jealous when I'm elsewhere in the country and they've got trails and forests and rivers and lakes. Not that Southern California doesn't have some beautiful scenery if you can get to it, but growing up here in the suburbs in Anaheim, you know, just south of LA, we didn't get to do a lot of hiking in forests or on mountains or see rivers or lakes or coral reefs, you know, so Disneyland was our place to see all that stuff. I always try to come to the park and keep that same mindset that I had when I was 7 or 8 or 9, you know? Like to see Disneyland as a vast place, kind of reactivate that imagination. Because even this place is totally what you make of it. You can see it as a hot, expensive, crowded place, or you can unlock your imagination, look on the bright side, and find a lot to inspire you. It just all depends on your mindset. Right now for me, my mindset is hungry. Oh, look at this guy, he's cute. Not gonna lie to you, just after 2 hours, I feel pretty weak. I'm normally the kind of guy that goes to Disney World in the high peak of summer and I wanna battle it out in the parks all day. Very weird for me to be like, oh, I've walked for 2 hours, I need to lay down. Been like that all year, I just haven't wanted to say anything about it. It's been quite a struggle. A lot worse lately, but it's been bad. So if you see me tripling down on the quest for positivity, there's a reason. I've always been terrified of surgery. Just the anesthesia, like getting put down and all that. I'm more afraid of being awake during a surgery though, so it balances out a little bit. Look at that. No thinking about the outside world. Think about cute Ghost Mickey and Pluto. Oh, I cannot tell you how much I needed this little treat here. Oh, especially that Mr. Pibb right here. I always hoped Mr. Pibb would go to medical school and become Dr. Pibb, you know, compete with his old buddy Dr. Pepper. Ah, now for something I totally shouldn't eat. All right, yeah, I needed that little yum in the tum. It's been fun coming out here, seeing some stuff I've never seen before. A little Fantastic Four robot Herbie going viral everywhere. Checking out some of the Halloween merch that's in the stores here in Tomorrowland. Supposedly later I'm gonna see something awesome down here at the Disneyland Resort. That's why I was tempted to just stay the whole time until nighttime, but I think indeed I am gonna leave and go check out some of these Disneyland props. I need to get off my feet for a little bit here. See, the downside of all this is by the time I start to feel really weak, it's almost like too late. Gotta make my way out slowly. Dang, I wish that omnibus would take us out to the parking structure. That's my fantasy, being inside of Disneyland or the Magic Kingdom, being tired and maybe having like the fire truck or one of the Main Street vehicles pick you up and just drive you to your car. Fantasy. So funny, because even when I want to leave, I still get that feeling I had when I was a kid, like, no, I can't leave Disneyland. Well, the good thing is, if everything goes according to plan, I'll be back tonight. We're actually supposed to be seeing something very, very cool at the Disneyland Hotel tonight, too. Hopefully everything works out. Oh, I finally made it to the tram station. I must have sat on every bench between Tomorrowland and here. Oh, so I'll be happy just to take a seat here for a second. Oh. No dancing between the tram cars. Not that I want to be a complainer, but it actually feels good to say out loud that I've been going through some of these problems, you know? I'm keeping this to myself for a long time, and it's hard to kind of cover it up when you start to get weak and everything. The best way I can describe it, if you've ever given blood and like a lot of blood, that's basically how I feel every single day, especially once I start walking around. Luckily, sitting seems to be unaffected. Like sitting down, driving, no problem. It's just walking around, stirs up trouble. Anyway, okay, so now we're gonna leave Disneyland to go and put our hands on some Disneyland history that's coming up for sale. There's something that even I would really like to bid on and see in real life. So we're gonna go check that out. Hopefully the drive will restore me a little bit here. Just gotta hop in my own wicked winch over here, the Random van, or Steve, get it? Steve van, as I like to call him. And off we go. Dude, I didn't even lock the door. Distracted much? All right, I can't actually show you where this place is or the drive there for, I think, self-evident reasons. We're heading to one of the places where they hold the artifacts for Grand Circle Tour auctions, sort of the newest up-and-comer on the scene. For Disney auctions, they've been doing those Randotti molds, auctioning that stuff off, all the old Randotti stuff. And they're doing some more of that. Some more of that is up for sale, and some props from the parks. Let's go check it out. All right, now I can't tell you where this place is, like I was saying, and unfortunately I couldn't get anybody who actually works there on camera, sort of like last time, but I did manage to convince my friend, who is an expert in the space, to meet me at this place. We could talk about some of the sweet stuff going up for sale. So this should be pretty interesting. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. All right, guys, I am here with my good friend Corey Brooks. Corey has worked for many auction houses dealing with Disney stuff. He wouldn't say this about himself. You're not going to say this about yourself, Corey, so I'll say it. You are one of the top experts, I would say, in the world when it comes to this stuff and its value and, you know, the sourcing the provenance and all that stuff. And probably the only person I would ever trust if I have to call someone for advice, which is exactly what I did. When it came to these Randotti molds, I called a good old Corey over here. You're a pro, Corey.
Well, thank you, Justin.
What do we got here?
Glad to be here. Yeah, I'm happy to take a look at some of these props coming up in an auction this weekend. I mean, we have a good assortment of things from Pirates of the Caribbean, artifacts, signage from the park. Why don't we take a look?
Okay, so this right here, first of all, this is the music that's right by that little piano thing, right? Do you have any idea what that piano thing is called? I was just talking about this today. I can't figure it out. It's like, it's not an organ.
Yeah, if someone out there knows what that specific instrument's called, let us know. But you can see right here, I mean, this is playing out the Yo-Ho, Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for me.
Dude, that's so crazy. And it's not paper. What is that? Can I touch it?
Yeah, it looks like canvas.
Yeah, it looks like canvas or something like that, which makes sense because they have to actually have it hold up inside of the ride with all that humid air. And then what the heck is this? Why does Mickey look like that?
I'm sure you've seen these before. Those are those Mickey store displays from the Disney store.
Okay.
I used to walk into those back in the 90s and see those larger-than-life characters all over the walls.
Dude, I love them. I can never sort out like Disney store props from like those big figs that they made, you know what I mean?
And speaking of which, right behind you.
Oh, is there one of these? Is that what that is? Okay, so there's the modern Mickey right there. A big... Now, what did those cost originally? Who made those? I see those big figs come up sometimes.
Yeah, this one's kind of special. I mean, many people out there probably know the names Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly, but they designed this one. And I believe it was a limited edition of only about 500 of these were made.
Oh my gosh, that's so freaking crazy. Dude, and then look at this. This is real, right? This is from the park. 35 years of magic, Disneyland's 35th anniversary. Were these the things that were up on the poles?
Yeah, these, you can see the screw mounts right there.
Yeah.
These were from the poles walking down Main Street advertising the 35th anniversary back in 1990.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that's the first anniversary I ever remember like going to, you know what I mean? I was there for the 30th, I'm told, but 35th is like kind of where my memories come online. That is so cool. It's like all iridescent and stuff like that.
And speaking of the 35th, and we have this item right here, this Enjoy Coca-Cola sign. Yeah. That was there in 1990 as well. This, if you remember, used to look up in Tomorrowland, and above the Tomorrowland Terrace, it said Enjoy Coca-Cola because it was sponsored by Coca-Cola at that time. And actually, as the years changed, they had to change the logo based on the logo Coca-Cola was using.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how do you figure out when these things are from?
Like this white strip that comes through the logo didn't really appear until around 1990 when this was in the park.
So that's the same time as 35th anniversary. Dude, I was just there. It's Galactic Grill now. That's where I just had my freaking French fries.
I was just thinking, like, can you think of a larger logo in Disneyland than this one?
I know, it's
huge. Who else
had
such a large logo in the park?
In 98, I guess FedEx maybe, way up on Space Mountain or something like that. But there's so much freaking stuff here. Okay, tell me what this is. I know this is, oh my gosh, it's heavy metal. This is the Genie's Lamp right here. And thank you, Grand Circle Tour Auctions, for letting us come and play in here and touch all your stuff. So what is that from?
So this would have been from Aladdin's Oasis. And you can see that they could have fed the smoke for the show right through there.
Oh, so it's from the actual show? Because that's heavy. Like, that is super heavy.
Very much so, yeah. I think they made a Didn't they make like a dessert or something out of the lamp? Where like I thought they had some
I
sort
don't
of
know.
food
I
item. based on
never
the
got
lamp,
to
too.
watch that show like as a dinner guest, you know?
Yeah.
No budget for that stuff. So like I used to just walk in there, especially after it was kind of done with the show. I would walk around in there and just be like, oh, look at that. I want to go through the lion's head, but I wasn't pure of heart enough, Corey. Okay, what is that?
I've seen a couple of these before. This is from the cast member canoe races.
What?
And for the those cast members that won, they had first place, second place, third place. I've seen those before. But this one here says canoe officials. This must have been one they gave to one of the officiants for those cast member races. I've never seen that before.
That is awesome. I didn't even know they gave out little prizes for the cast member canoe race. Okay, what about these heads right here? Because these look familiar to me. Are those from Main Street
Sure.
Windows?
Yeah, these are Main Street window display characters. And you can see they're hand painted. They're this dense sort of foam rubber material with, fake hair applied and
That is so
costuming
cool.
applied.
Can I
But they're
grab
all,
one?
no one ever gets to see them this close. I mean, you can see the hand painted
Oh my
eyes on there and the
gosh.
mouth.
This is so cool. So this was in one of the windows on Main Street, USA, like in the Emporium, right?
Yeah, that would have been circa 1980s.
Who
based on
makes
this
that
design.
stuff?
They have their own department that does the Main Street window display settings, but I remember artist Kevin Kidney, again, same one that designed this figure here. Back in the day, he was working on those window displays, and he was part of the team that took some of those displays to New York as a temporary window display there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is so freaking cool. Yeah, because you have to have all the context, right? Like when you've worked for auction houses and stuff in the past, or when you're called in as a consultant, you sometimes have to go digging and find photos of this
Sure.
stuff, find the provenance. You have to have all the contacts to call, figure out where this stuff is from.
And what's
This
great is
is
Disneyland was
amazing.
such a highly photographed location. I mean, you went there to take photos of
Right.
certain things. Some things are a little harder to find than others. Not everyone went there to photograph signage or other things
Right,
behind
yeah,
the scenes.
not a lot of
but-
people were shooting pictures of the Coke
Yeah.
sign. That's why they had to make it so big that you couldn't help it.
Exactly.
Okay, but then speaking of signs, what about this? Because I've seen one of these signs before. If you guys don't know what this is, the Big Game Shoot was a shooting gallery inside of what became like the Indiana Jones, what was it called? The Adventure Outpost or something like that. That store right there used to be a big game shooting gallery where you would shoot at animal-shaped targets, I believe originally with BBs, right? Like they would shoot full-on BBs at metal targets. And so part of the fun of going to Adventureland was buying a toy gun, going on a jungle cruise, pretending you were hunting the animals, not something they would do today. And the Big Game Shoot was the shooting gallery, sort of the Adventureland equivalent of the Frontierland shooting gallery that's still there. But why is this one special? Because this one's different than
Well, yeah, let's
the
take a look
ones
here.
in other auctions, right?
So I've seen one or two of these before, but they were C coupon attractions. So
Oh, okay.
the Big Game Shoot, I mean, you remember the old park ticket books you used to have an A,
Yes.
B, C, D, and famously the E coupons.
And by the way, Corey is an expert on the park ticket books because you have a massive collection
I do
of
have a
those
pretty
things.
large ticket collection. But
Like if you need to know what year one is from, call Corey.
so the ones I've seen before all said C coupon. Now, the Big Game Shoot became a B coupon at certain points, like I think it was 1977 and 79.
Oh my
In those
gosh.
ticket books, you can actually go look, and it was a B coupon.
And so that was only for like a limited amount of time, like what, towards the end of its life or the beginning of its life?
Well, yeah, that would have been around the late 70s, so sort of towards getting towards the end of its life.
my
But you
gosh.
can see here, if you get kind of close,
Right.
this is screen printed graphics.
Oh
But
yeah.
if
can
you look
feel
closely at those letters, those are hand painted. So
Okay, so they just left this blank. And,
yeah, if they ever needed to
and this
change it from a C to a B or another coupon, they could
That
paint in
is
there what it
so
was.
Cool. So this would be mounted where? Like right outside
I see it says sign
of
number
the
3
store?
there on the back.
That is so cool. See, it's amazing that people like have the foresight that when this stuff is getting ripped out, and I'm sure tons of stuff like this went in a dumpster, that some people there were like, well, no, I'm gonna go put that on my garage wall
Right.
or whatever. Like save that for the kids.
Well, also the foresight when designing it to leave those areas blank in case it ever needed to change to a different coupon.
Dude, I wonder what happened to the screens. Get me some of those screens, Corey.
Okay, well, if anyone out there knows where they are, come
Yeah,
find me.
call Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Might be
speaking
one
of
there.
signs, look down here. Mickey's Halloween Party. This became Oogie Boogie Bash when they moved it over to DCA's. This is relatively more modern, but it's a defunct event. So that's not around anymore. There's our 35 Years of Magic. And then this right here isn't a sign, but this is something very rare and special. It's the freaking Disneyland flag. Now there's the orange flag with Mickey on it, right?
The orange Mickey, and then there's also this famous one, double-sided that has Sleeping Beauty Castle logo and Disneyland's name proudly shown there.
So what's the difference between the two, like where they're flown or whatever? I know the orange Mickey head flag is above Main Street Station. So there's this City Hall and just kind of everywhere else?
Yeah, well, maybe not everywhere else, but definitely, you know, that above City Hall. I mean, these, it makes sense that if you were going to have flags, you'd want both the character Mickey and also the logo for the park, Sleeping Beauty Castle.
I love that. And look at this. Look at all this stitching on here. I know it's probably not hand done, but it really looks like somebody did it by hand, at least with a sewing machine. Like, I feel like today they would just print this on two sides and sew them together, where this is actually all like stitched up and embroidered on here. This is very cool. But why are there no holes in the side of the flag?
Normally when we see these, they have grommets in the corners for actually flying within the park.
Right.
This one here, it does still have the Walt Disney Productions stamp on there.
Right, okay, so it's no bootleg.
It definitely made it through production, but it didn't have the grommets. So either maybe it was given as a gift to maybe a visiting...
Like a dignitary or something like that?
Yeah, like a VIP visiting or something. Or maybe for whatever reason they thought something needed to be changed and it didn't actually get flown. But you know, for whatever reason, it doesn't have those grommets on there.
So this thing is like mint condition. It's kind of like when you collect action figures and you find a card that's unpunched, like it's never been on the peg. Yeah, like mint in box. This is like the mint in box flag. And then speaking of freaking pirates, would you look at the size of this? Okay, where the heck is that from?
So Pirates is by far my favorite attraction.
Dude, me too.
And it's just the smell, everything about it. This, you can see the photo there. There is that map. This, I mean, you think of pirates, you think of buried treasure.
Yeah, this is
you
the
think
guy
of
in his
treasure
bed.
maps. This is the pirate captain who's, even as a skeleton, still looking at his map, trying to find that treasure. And you can see here, this X right there is hand painted on there.
Oh, okay.
No one ever gets to see it this close. I mean, the imagery they used for the map is a printed
so this is
image.
printed here.
And then they would, you know, tear the edges.
Yeah, hand distress it probably.
Make it look weathered. But then they paint the X on. And if you get kind of close, you can see that that's all paint on there.
Oh, yeah.
And how that matches this photo here of that pirate captain.
So you're able to photo match it to like a specific time in the ride, so you know 100% for sure that was in Pirates. Dude, that is so crazy. I wish this one wasn't in glass, so I'd love to just get my hands on it. But it's probably pretty fragile,
It probably
I'm
helps
guessing.
preserve it a bit. You can see it's on some sort of canvas, it looks like.
When you worked for like other auction houses and stuff like that, and you had to deal with a lot of these props, like, do a lot of them have to undergo like restoration or stabilization before they can go out?
Depends what it is.
So like the paper stuff like this?
Paper stuff, it depends if it needs that additional support. Sometimes, I mean, this stuff wasn't made to survive as many years as it has.
Right, like how often would they change this? I never thought about this, so they must have to change anything paper or even canvas or cloth in the ride.
And that's almost certainly why they used it as a printed image, because if they ever needed to replace it, they could get another printed one and then just paint the X on and tear it up. But you got to think it's not being touched within the ride.
Right.
So it could, in theory, last a good while, but even then, it's still, things have to be replaced once in a while.
Eventually moisture is going to get to it, so that's so cool. Again, it's so cool that somebody grabbed this and instead of chucking it in a dumpster went, this has got to come to my house. That's the only reason that I regret never working at Disneyland. It's like, it would be awesome to have one of those jobs where you're there and somebody goes, oh, you can take that home with you. Like, yeah. Okay, and speaking of Pirates of the Caribbean, what have we here, Corey?
This is a pretty special one. You can see there's a photo at the bottom of one of the animatronic pirates holding one of these torches.
Oh, that's the drunk guy I was talking about. That's the guy, he's all by himself above the hat guy. I was just wondering, was he's the only guy drunk as a skunk holding a torch? And I was just asking, is he the guy that started the fire, Corey? What do you think?
Well, the evidence is certainly leading that way, isn't it?
Right? Look at that. The old torch pirate. So this is his actual torch from the ride? Whoa, 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 whoa. That is not wood. That is not wood right there.
A lot of these props used in the ride are made out of fiberglass and then painted over.
You're telling me he's not holding a real torch on Pirates of the Caribbean over here?
Sorry to shatter the illusions out there.
So what do they put in there, like a light bulb or something? This thing is actually huge.
Yeah, if you look at the photo on the bottom there, you can see that it's kind of like a static flame in the torch there. It's not actual fire.
Like one of those cloth flames that blows with a little fan or something in a light bulb or something like. I don't know how it works, but this is the housing for it. So it's fiberglass, like they have a mold. And I guess just like anything else, eventually, after a while, it has to be replaced from swinging around and they're burning the town down. Dude, how sick would it be to have this like above your bed and maybe put a light back in it? Just to light your way through the night. Sorry, I'm getting hyper in here. It's been a long day. All right, I see a giant tapestry here. I see a giant Mickey Nuimo. I never know how to pronounce it. Nemo? Nuimo?
Your guess is as good as mine.
though? They're so cute. Look at that, wearing a little shirt right there, a giant sign, I'm assuming for display. Point of sale.
Exactly. And some of these, there's a Minnie Mouse around here somewhere too that has metal brackets on the base when it isn't displayed.
Oh, cool. But look at this, we got a whole table with more epic artifacts on it, including some Randotti molds I'm seeing over here.
Yeah, you can see some of those Randotti characters. This one, if you catch the light right, you'll see it's glowing still.
Oh, so that's a glow-in-the-dark piece.
See the glow-in-the-dark on the head there?
Yeah. That's amazing. So this is very much kind of a pirate-themed auction going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pirates material.
I kind of lucked out that I rode Pirates Day, because these were the souvenirs that Randotti made to kind of go along with New Orleans Square and Pirates of the Caribbean. So the original molds, dang it, and one of the pieces pulled from them. That is so freaking cool. But there's other stuff here. What do you got here?
Yeah, well, if you're looking over here, I heard that these 3 are Mark Davis concept art prints that were actually owned by Mark Davis, and he signed them with his MD initials there.
And Corey would know, because you were handling a big part of that Mark Davis auction.
Yeah, I was fortunate to work with the estate handling Mark Davis's collection.
And I was fortunate enough to know you and get to go in and look at some of that stuff before
If you haven't seen
sold.
that video, go back and watch that video.
And so these are Mark Davis, like he bought, or he kept his own versions of the concept artwork prints, and then they're all framed up here for individuals. It'd be cool to own a piece of concept artwork that was actually owned by the artist who created it.
It's kind of hard to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean without mentioning Mark Davis.
I know. It's like his personality is written all over that ride. Okay, so and then in that spirit, what is this right here?
So this is the original artwork. Imagineering created 1967 artwork used in the making of this famous guidebook, Pirates of the Caribbean guidebook from 1967.
I do not even have one of those.
That's the page that this was used to make.
Oh my gosh, wait, so this is original artwork?
Yes, so that's the sort of the mock-up, the
Oh, I thought it was
art.
a print, but now that I'm moving around, I can
it's all
actually
hand
see.
done.
No way. Do you know who did this artwork?
We think it was Ken Chapman, Imagineer Ken Chapman, but it's based on Mark Davis's design. I mean, this is the stand-in for Mark Davis's
Dude,
art.
that is it's so close to the finished
But you see
product right there. But yeah, it's the copy is all filled in, the text instead of just
changed these
squiggles.
These guys' location on the art.
Oh yeah, those are the 2 pirates in the line. I love those guys right there.
Swapped them.
That is so cool. So there were a couple last minute changes. That is
yeah.
so neat. What a weird, like, obscure, radical piece of Disney history right there. Okay, and then tell me about this weird little, what is that right there? The little lantern.
This is a little ornament from the Christmas tree at the Grand Californian. I mean,
What?
if you've ever stayed at the Grand Californian or walked through it, you've seen lanterns like this throughout the hotel.
Yeah.
It's that classic California craftsman style that it's known for. But to celebrate during the holidays one year, they made ornaments based on those lanterns that hung on the tree.
But they weren't for sale, right? They were just
They weren't
for
for
the
sale.
lobby.
They were specifically for just that tree, just the holiday season.
Oh, how cool is that? I wonder if they like gave them away to cast members working there or something, and that's like how they leaked out, or you know.
Hard to know exactly how they got out, but
That is so
you can see the detail
cool.
on how cool that is.
And that's metal, right?
Yeah, it's metal and it's like, gosh, I don't know, maybe acrylic.
That's so freaking cool.
So this one's pretty amazing. It's a custom display for the prop. With the prop is the snake, and that snake, you might have seen some of those in Indiana Jones Adventure, in that area with the giant cobra that lunges at you. There's these little snakes on the walls and the rubble.
See, I've never looked around in there because obviously it's very dark. Oh, this is so cool. Look at that. I'm touching a piece of history. And it's just like a rubber snake like you would find at like Toys R Us back in the day.
But it's hand painted.
Or
You can
those
see the
barrels.
little splotches of color added to it. And even these holes, it's funny how they reused it on this display, but those holes were what secured that prop within the ride originally.
So they actually do just screw or nail in like all these rubber snakes to the walls. That is so cool. And like anything else, rubber's going to break down. Yeah. So over time.
And look how small this is. You're not going to see this on the attraction. It's enough. It's just functional.
That's a cool, just like a little piece of like Disney history. But the thing is, like, we were just talking about some other stuff, like, you know, giant arcade games or pinball machines, stuff that you always think you want. But if you put a giant pinball machine into your living room, it takes up a lot of space. Right. So the little things like this, like the little collectibles, are actually kind of cooler than having the full-size, like, attraction posters or something that take up a lot of real estate.
And we find, you know, sometimes every collector's different. I mean, some people have the space for a large Mickey or a pirate map, or even the Tomorrowland Terrace Coca-Cola sign.
Look at that thing.
Some people have the space and want to commit that space to it, but other people could just use the ornament, you know, take it out on the holidays and enjoy a piece of Disneyland history.
Yeah, you can actually put that on your tree, which is so cool. Or even stuff like this. Like, I love the ephemera. I need to find myself one of these. I'm assuming this one is getting sold with this in the auction, but how cool is it to have that piece of artwork How cool would that be to like have framed up in your house or whatever? Oh, by the way, we skipped right over that. Please tell me that is actually from Epcot right there.
Yeah, that's an Epcot used Beverly dispenser. And you want to tell us more about Beverly?
Okay, I call Beverly Neverly because it is never going in my mouth again. It is the worst, most bitterest substance known to man. In Epcot, at Club Cool, they tell you, oh, this is something that they serve in Italy. People love it. They drink it all the time. And I have a friend who swears he did buy it from Italy years and years ago, like decades ago. But as far as I can tell, they don't actually make Beverly anywhere anymore except for World of Coke and Epcot.
And I've had the unfortunate experience of trying it myself, and it was not one
How'd
I
you
want
like
to
it?
I do not want to repeat that experience.
See, when I took my son for the first time, he like guzzled it and he's like, oh, it's not that bad.
They say it's a grapefruit flavor, but
No.
that's just
There's
baloney.
no flavor. You know what it tastes like? Death.
They somehow concentrated bitterness into a soda.
Yeah, exactly. It tastes like divorce. That's what it tastes like. Okay, there was one other piece. Speaking of little pieces, that's a Disneyland railroad spike. So from the actual track?
Yes, those do get replaced periodically. You can see it's kind of warped a little bit from being removed, and the oxidation on the wear on
It
there.
looks so small though. Like I was just expecting it to. I would just expect it to be like a full size railroad
Yeah, no,
spike.
that's. I mean, I've offered these over the years before. That's the standard size for a railroad spike.
Yeah, because I've seen these for sale in different contexts before. People that will have one on their wall, like in their house or something like that. But I just never noticed like how little they are. I've also seen the Carolwood Pacific ones, the ones from Walt's Backyard Railroad. Those are much smaller too than even this,
absolutely.
right? Like those are teeny tiny railroad spikes. But look at that. Look at how great that looks with the little train framed up. This is so freaking awesome. And again, shout out to Grand Circle Tour Auctions for giving me a heads up that some of the Randotti stuff is going away again. So a couple more of the original molds that were held back because they fit, you know, kind of better with this pirate theme over here. And I had a little hand in helping to discover these. Corey had a little hand in helping me to authenticate those items over here. So it's kind of cool that we got to come back and see like.
Yeah, it's a little reunion here.
See them on their journey, you know what I mean? And by the way, these things just absolutely covered in years of grime. There's no mistaking that those are old. Like the patina on those bad boys.
Fresh from the barn find.
Yeah, and I've used them. I've pulled tiki molds, and I actually made some moai out of the original molds and sold them at a recent tiki event I did when I was selling my tiki masks. And
they still worked for you.
They still worked,
awesome.
And they were awesome. So I'm having all kinds of fun, like pulling them out and hand painting them and stuff. But some of this stuff, the dead stock, is so cool because it was like the last time anyone was commercially trying to pull them. And didn't a lot of them have like Disney World tags on them?
Yeah, quite a few.
Disney
Some of the
tags.
The finished pieces, a lot of them had still on there a little label or a price tag. Like they were ready to go off, and it must have just right when they
just
canceled,
stopped
selling them,
or
they
something.
just kept whatever was left
It's
over.
just so cool. Yeah, okay, and then this right here, we skipped right over that. That's an original Mark Davis painting.
Mark Davis painting. If you get close, you can see the signature there.
Oh my
Dated for
gosh.
73. This one's really interesting because this type of painting, the sort of female studies he was doing, he was doing a lot of that in the 1940s, and the materials used and the age of this does look a lot like his 1940s work. So I'm actually wondering if you get really close, you can see some like etching into the back.
Yeah, it's like weird
that's kind of
squiggles,
faint.
gold
I wonder
squiggles.
if maybe he came back to this piece because there's some damage here in the front. I wonder if he found this piece again in his collection because back at his house, these paintings were he did so much work in his life. These were everywhere. I wonder if he found this again closer to the 73 and tried to rework on it a little bit.
Tried to touch it up.
And maybe that's the time that he signed it because this looks a lot more like his 1940s work.
It's weird because the face is like sort of unmistakably Mark Davis work. Like it looks like those paintings he did for the Haunted Mansion or for Pirates or something like that. And yet it doesn't. And obviously he's just doing like, this wasn't for Disney, presumably, right?
No, this was his personal work. He was an prolific artist.
But he was known as like the female guy.
Yeah, so
right?
to have a painting by him of a female study, considering of how many classic animated characters he did, the classic women.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of them.
So Tinkerbell one, Maleficent.
Right, Tinkerbell, Maleficent. Did he do Cruella de Vil? I think Cruella de Vil. Like whenever they needed a female, he was just the guy that could kind of like capture, you know, their personality into their draw. Mark Davis is a freaking genius, dude.
Absolutely, legend.
Oh, we missed this too. Yeah, okay. So this right here, I know what this is because these are up against Rivers of America. I think this might be either from the exit to the rafts or the canoes.
This
right?
was right around. I don't know which exit it was, but right around the Rivers of America. It's a wooden sign, and you can see how they would.
Okay,
mount
so
it
it's
in
actual wood.
See
It's been distressed and aged.
Those nail holes in there where
Yeah,
it
yeah,
attached
yeah.
to the fence, and then it's actually screen printed the text on there.
Oh, really? Because I know some of the signs are hand painted in the park, but then other stuff they do have screens for because they're signs that need to be exactly replaced.
And sometimes it's a mix, like we were talking about this one here.
Yeah.
But also this one, I mean, the actual wood itself is hand painted, and then they screen the text
What I always
on
find fascinating is even when they're using real wood, like I can tell you right now, that's a real piece of wood. Someone torched it and wire brushed it and aged it. And I can just see the way it's cut and stuff, having done some of these myself. It's fascinating to me that they paint the wood. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but they paint it. And the same thing with the castle, like the stone of the castle, there's this particular Disney technique of like flecking on aging that those sign painters there are so good at. And they actually employ like a whole team of, they're called pictorial artists there. My friend George's dad is one of them. And these guys, like, they hand paint signs, they go and do like pinstriping or gold leafing, they touch up so much stuff in the park. So like I was saying earlier about the groundskeepers, shout out to the pictorial artists, and oh my gosh, that Mickey is terrifying. I kind of hate it and I kind of love it at the same time. Like, I don't know why I want to put this Mickey like in my room and stare at him every day. So I'm going to need to bid on that.
I recently learned an interesting thing about Mickey, and it's why you don't shoot him from right here.
From down low?
Yeah, the nose covers the face, and he becomes super distorted and weird.
Oh, so Mickey's like a MySpace angle only character. I never thought about that before. Okay, so that's from the Disney store, right?
Correct. That's
so
from
when
the
they had
Disney
all
store.
those props like up high around the...
And that, we were talking about fiberglass props. That's another fiberglass they could... Because they used this design of Mickey in several different Disney store displays based on the location.
And so he might have different outfits on
he could be
top of them
holding
or
different
something.
props, interacting in a different way, but that's
so
suppose
cool.
that's used.
I get jealous because I've seen people that have collections of that stuff. Like maybe they were a manager at one of the stores that closed or something, and they'll have a whole bunch, like they'll have Donald and they'll have all these big guys.
They were famously supposed to destroy all of those pieces.
Really?
It was only a few that made it out, which is why they're pretty rare.
Oh my gosh.
But so many of those were tossed and destroyed and forced to be destroyed.
I can't believe that, first of all, the Disney store displays have always been legendary, but so have Main Street window displays, and these went to, what did you say, Bloomingdale's?
Yeah, there were a few that went to Bloomingdale's as part of a promotion for the anniversary of Snow White.
I just love that the company used to kind of like be so small that it was like, well, we'll just take those old Main Street window display. We'll send that to Bloomingdale's. Or whatever. Now the company's so huge and there's so many sub companies. I just can't see them doing that. You know,
I like the idea of we already have it in Disneyland.
Yeah,
let's just send that one. Like,
so
don't make it
cool.
again. Just send the one we have.
And then we didn't talk about these. So what are these? These look like maquettes to me.
Yeah, these are maquettes. That's sort of the industry term we use, but you could also call them just small scale models of the animatronic characters. So there's a few here.
Oh, so it's for the animatronics.
Well, you would recognize from Alice in Wonderland, we
Yeah.
have both the White Rabbit, with his little clock there and chain.
I know,
And
that's
then
so cool.
Queen of Hearts holding her little golfing flamingo there.
Oh, yeah. And the king.
But interesting is from, if you remember, Kitchen Cabaret at Epcot.
Oh, yes.
Did you ever get to go on that?
No,
So-
I never did. But of course, I've seen like people's old VHS footage of it.
I never got to go on that attraction, but this is the hostess for the ride. It's her name's Bonnie Appetite.
Bonnie Appetit.
Is it Bonnie Appetit?
I think
don't
so.
quote me on
I'm
that.
pretty sure, but look at that. No, I'm just guessing.
Okay,
I never saw the show.
don't quote me on that.
That's so cool.
But that's Bonnie from Kitchen Cabaret, and you can see she's hand painted, highly detailed, and that's used in the creation of the final show. And there's actually photos of that exact maquette used by Imagineering to create the show.
So you'd have like Imagineers sketching up concepts for stuff like this, but then the next phase would be somebody's got to build
exactly.
a 3D model so that they can see how it's going to fit the space, how it's going to
imagine
work.
the complication of building the full-size animatronics.
Yeah.
And how you would want your smaller representation of it to make sure that the show works the way they intended.
So these are from Disneyland.
These are Disneyland. 1984, I believe, was that version of Alice in Wonderland.
Wow.
And then this was Kitchen Cabaret at Epcot Center.
Yeah, because I think they did started work on New Fantasyland in '82, opened it in '83, and then Alice in Wonderland was right afterwards.
I believe 84.
And right now they're working on Casey Jr. and Storybook Land, so you know the changes continue up at Disneyland Park. But it's weird to think that the version of Alice in Wonderland that I grew up with is very different than the original like 1950s version, you know, because most people don't realize that. You take it for granted. Back then, people didn't scream and holler when they improved the rides.
Well,
they
sometimes
just enjoyed the improvement.
those changes sometimes happen over time, bit by bit. I mean, think of things like Pirates, which is in general largely the same, but there's quite a few changes to what it opened as. But
Yeah, I was
even
watching
then,
some old footage of it. I can't say where or with who, but with some Imagineers. And the opening day footage, like the promotional footage they shot of Pirates, they were still hand applying makeup to the animatronics back then.
Yeah.
Costume girls would come out and change the costumes like weekly, you know what I mean? So like it's undergone a few changes. I cannot believe this. I want this. I want to take this and I want to burn a town down so bad now. Okay, so by the time you see this, the auction for this stuff will be imminent. They invited me to come earlier, but I was in Canada and it was a whole long, and I was bleeding. It was a whole long, frustrating process. You know, I was having fun, being lazy, laying in my bed, bleeding to death. You know how it goes. But anyway, the auction is imminent. It is this weekend. So if you're seeing this video, you can go over and get registered on liveauctioneers.com, and then you got to search for Grand Circle Tour auctions. That's what I did last time. I did not win anything last time. This time, I'm in it to win it. I'm hoping I win the big game, shoot something. And off camera, Corey and I were just told by someone who works here that there are more than 200 items in the auction. So we're just seeing like a small sample of stuff. It's just weird. It coincidentally worked out. There's all this pirate stuff after I was on Pirates today, because it was a walk-on, baby, which was pretty sweet. Dude, that was so awesome. Super shout out to my friend Corey, who was brought in as a consultant on that auction, because he is like one of the foremost experts on stuff from Disney parks, Disney animation, all that kind of stuff. It just perfectly worked out. When I found out Corey was gonna be there, I was like, oh, awesome. We'll have the guy that can actually like tell you with certainty where something is from. How cool would it be to own like the torch from Pirates of the Caribbean? See, I am definitely a collector myself. Like I have that collector gene, so I see stuff like that and I just want to own it. Like how cool would that be? And on the flip side, like I have a lot of stuff stacked up already, you know, but something from Pirates. I'm just happy I get called in every once in a while and get to take a look at some of that stuff and get to touch it, you know, before it finds its forever home kind of thing. If any of you out there ever have like awesome rad stuff for sale like that you're gonna get rid of, let me know before you get rid of it. Let me come and play with it. Sounded really weird, but you know what I mean. But also, if you ever come across a bunch of old Disneyland stuff in your attic, give Corey a call, man. Corey Brooks, he's the man. Super rad. A couple of those Randotti skull molds made it into this auction with the pirate stuff, so I think I might be bidding. I might be doing some bidding. Then again, I got this old van to take care of. By the way, if anybody can recommend a great shop, like just a super honest, great mechanic shop, not for like a special hookup or anything, just a really, really great place that's actually gonna go through a car, pay attention, take care of you, go the extra mile kind of, let me know in Southern California, because I'd like to take the van in, you know, just have it looked over before stuff starts to break on me this time around. And now, if I could hold out just a little longer on the energy front, we're going back down to Disneyland, to the Disneyland Hotel, because we're supposed to get inside someplace amazing tonight. We'll see. See you guys down there. I'm excited, dude. This is one crazy random day. All right, one of those long days, but one of those days where it felt better to be doing something, moving around, and so in that spirit, we come back down to the Disneyland Resort. Right now, we're gonna make our way over to the Disneyland Hotel. I filmed many of the old school themed suites in here, Adventureland, Frontierland, those suites. Since I filmed those episodes, the Disneyland Hotel has changed quite a bit, which is especially weird for me because I grew up right behind it, you know. The Disneyland Hotel used to have so many little attractions in it, arcades, and fun stuff to do. It was like our Disneyland growing up. We went there more than we went to the park, that's for sure. This particular change was one I wasn't willing to face for a while, because in 2021 over here at Disneyland Hotel, they tore out what was left of my favorite thing here, the free dancing water show that used to be at the Disneyland Hotel. I did a video about it years and years and years, 2014 maybe? No, actually I think it might have been 2013 even. Anyway, they tore out what was left of that and started construction on a new tower for the hotel called the Discovery Tower, or sometimes just known as the Villas. That's the fancy new DVC tower. And even though it opened in 2023, I have yet to go inside of it. I was kind of avoiding it as long as I could, but now one of my really good friends is staying in a suite inside and has invited us to come inside and take a look. Dude, I cannot tell you how attached to this place I am. The old lagoon that used to be there, and the pedal boats. Used to have RC cars and RC boats back when Jack Rather owned this place. I've only stayed here once that I can remember, where I actually spent the entire night here. It wasn't just filming someone else's suite. And so I grew up in the shadow of this place, literally, and just loving it and just feeling nostalgic right now as I walk in once again, feeling nostalgic for the old days when the family used to come here and get as much free entertainment as we possibly could. Oh, it smells so good in here. See, look at that sign right there. The villas at Disneyland Hotel for the Disney Vacation Club, or DVC as it's known. And there it is. There's a model of the tower right there. The Discovery Tower, sitting right over the top of what used to be the Dancing Water Show. Look at that thing. It's got its own pool. Like I said, I still have not been inside of that tower, not even in the lobby. Haven't seen the pool, nothing. So it's the first time for me. Oh, look at that little photo booth hiding over here at the hotel. I love that they still have this old merch wall, this old Disneyland merch display. And I'm coming this way through the hallways because I just wanted to see with my own eyes if they still had the old Autopia car in here. Look at that thing. Designed by Bob Gurr himself. Thing of beauty. All right, well, we're not going to Goofy's Kitchen, so let's head out to the Discovery Tower. The day has finally come. There's good old Trader Sam's over there. Here's the Disneyland Hotel pool, the monorail pool, and then right in front of us, right behind this giant tree, is the new tower. Hang on, let me run backwards for a better view. There it is, right back there on the right. That whole right-hand building. All brand new as of 2023 when it opened to the public for the first time. I'm going in. I feel nervous, like a first date. It's weird. Actually, I have no idea where I'm going. And actually, since I've never been in here, I have no idea where I'm going. Oh, they got the pool out here, a nice little bar. Look at this, I got access to the little splash pad behind the monorail pool. Wow, that is a cool mural right there. Ooh, very fancy bar. I'm just trying to see. Oh, there it is. The Steamboat Willie splash and play area in front of the pool over here. Okay, that is awesome. Look at Steamboat Willie right there. Very fancy bar, nice seating area. Cool old school breeze blocks, and I love this gate right here. Very mid-century modern. All right. We're going in. Here's the lobby. Welcome home, it says over there. Well, it's nice to be here. Oh, wow. Smells good in here. It's fantastic. Look at this picture of Ub Iwerks right there. Sort of the co-creator of Mickey Mouse. A lot of amazing pieces of Disney animation history on display. It's gorgeous. Very modern. Very clean. Very nice. Now I've got to head upstairs. I've got to find this room we're looking for. I was worried the elevator wouldn't let me up without a room key, but it's not that kind of joint apparently, so up we go. I mean, there was somebody in the lobby, but apparently they'll let just anyone in here. All right, gotta look for this room now. Gotta look for this room. I think it's this way. Wow, look at this hallway, dude. What the heck? I was just about to say, this is one impressive doorway. This is it. This is the room. Look down here, though. Oh my gosh, just to explore just a little bit. Look at all this concept artwork here for different animated movies. A lot of Jungle Book stuff. And then this beautiful window, this etched window. Not even kidding, that looks out at my old neighborhood. That's so weird. Super weird. All right, here we go. We're gonna knock on the door and see what happens. This is so weird, this kind of curved ceiling right here. Look at that. It's a weird feeling being here in person. It feels like I'm in like the TWA terminal at JFK or something. All right, I hope this is the right room. Nobody's answering. I'm just gonna back away slowly. Oh, just as I was about to back away, it's Kevin.
Welcome to my crib.
The big Kev. Dude, okay, this room right here is freaking insane. 2 stories, 3 bedrooms, sleeps 12. And thankfully, Kevin from BC DeLorean and his lovely wife have let us in to check it out because they managed to snag it with their DVC points. Kevin, I feel like you are a golden god and I'm just visiting your palace. You just have this one night, but still, one night like a king. Just look at this, 2 stories. Look at the spiral staircase right there. But the most insane thing, forget about the room, forget about the living room. Look at the size of this. The balcony right here. And look at the view. The moon is rising back there behind the Adventure Tower. Look at the pool way down there. And yes, it's got a glass railing. I'm getting a little bit okay, I don't like that. Luckily, you could still be on the balcony and stand 12 feet away from the edge. This is amazing. Look at that. There's 1 bedroom up there with a balcony. That's part of this suite. This right here is part of this suite. Behind sort of the master bedroom right there, the Bambi room. We're going to see that in a minute. Look at the view you have down here. Yes, my other hand is holding the wall and clutching it in pure terror. And then the same thing on the other side of it. Look at this. You got a little table for 4 right here, just off of the dining room, and then up above it, another bedroom with its own balcony. This is insane. I cannot believe this is at the Disneyland Hotel. I can see the Tower of Terror off. That's a little purple smudge over there. I can see Batuu, Star Wars Land, just off of this way. Oh my gosh. Anyway, look at this out here. You got 2 couches facing each other with the little outside fireplace, but it's an outside inside fireplace. Look at these windows right here. Check it out. You come around the other side and you got the, whoa, I almost walked through a closed glass door right there. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you come around the inside. Okay, this one's open. And look at that. Fireplace on both sides. Look at the size of this living room. You could sleep so many people on the pull-out couches. Like I said, sleeps 12, at least according to Kevin. This is insane. Don't mind me while I'm just roaming around while you guys eat your dinner over here. Oh, you brought up salad too. Salad and tri-tip. Look at the size of that dining room table right there. Looks like something Saddam Hussein would own. Look at that. That's some fine marble right there. It's huge. This has more square footage downstairs than the entire house that I rent. I really want to slide across that table on my belly, you know? Just like take a running leap and just whoosh. If only we had some baby oil up here.
Earlier, we're just not sure what all's going on.
See, yeah, exactly. It's a big table. Later on, maybe tomorrow when you guys check out, I'll come back and use the salad dressing and just whoosh, slip and slide that bad boy. This is just incredible. Oh my gosh. Normally, whenever I've been invited to stay in a fancy suite like this, usually the family or the person wants to remain anonymous. Not in this case. My good old friends BC DeLorean over there hooking it up. I think they let my buddy Adam the Woo in here earlier. He had to take off before I could get here. I was over at Grand Circle Tour Auctions. What the heck, though? Anyways, I have been in and stayed at some of the presidential suites at Walt Disney World, whether it's Animal Kingdom Lodge or the monorail resorts, you know, Polynesian, Grand Floridian. Those are all older buildings that have been like retrofitted to be nice. This is like beautifully purpose-built, incredible. So that's just the size of the room. Again, I'm just gonna say it and show it one more time. The size of this balcony is blowing my freaking mind. And that view, that incredible view, watching the moon rise. This is absolutely nuts. Okay, look at this. You got the little kitchen island there with seating for 3, plenty of room for everybody to make a meal. How many chairs are around this table? There's 8 on the sides. Yeah, and 10 chairs. You can have a feast for 10. Full-size fridge. Oh my gosh, the stove over here. You got the dishwasher, the microwave.
The microwave's down here.
Oh, a condiment kit. Don't mind if I do. What'd you say?
That's the adult. That's Vegas.
You got a washer dryer combo in here? I don't even have one of those in my house. It's hard to show like a sense of scale in here because I was just thinking that credenza right there is so big it wouldn't fit anywhere in my house. But in here, it looks tiny because this freaking room is absolutely enormous. Look at this when you come in. Look at the spiral staircase right here. And I was just about to say, a lot of like modernized old hotel rooms, especially in like theme parks and different stuff like that or resorts, will be completely soulless, you know, very modern and just like empty feeling. This is a nice mix of modern and sort of mid-century modern. So it has kind of the comfort of feeling vintage while looking, smelling, and feeling absolutely brand new. Look at all that artwork. I think while they're busy eating, we'll go invade Kevin's privacy and go into his master suite. They do have a downstairs, I'll call it lobby bathroom in here. Where's the light switch? Oh, fancy slow light switch. Look at that artwork on the wall. Alice's Curious Labyrinth. They got a royal throne in here. Oh, that's cool. Look at that little piece of artwork on the counter. It's so cool that there's a guest bathroom. I feel more comfortable now that I know there's a latrine here. And then this is the Bambi room. Look at that closet right there. Everything has like a texture on it. Everything smells brand new. Look at the TV there. Beautiful king size bed. It's amazing artwork right there on the headboard. You got your reading lights, your USB plugs. But look at this freaking bathroom right here. This is unbelievable. I've stayed in a lot of suites, or at least got to film in a lot of suites. I have never seen a bathroom like this in a Disney suite before. Dude, look at those 3 backlit mirrors. You can have a separate makeup mirror from your toothbrushing mirror or your pimple popping mirror over there. And then look at this. You got the walk-in shower right here. So it's accessible in the downstairs bedroom. You got your little rain shower head and your like handheld shower head. But this bathtub right here, this bathtub is enormous. Again, hard to show scale when everything is huge. Look at this mosaic on the backsplash. And look at that. Look how they fold the towels into swans in a rose right there.
Nobody's doing that in my house, I'll tell you.
I don't think I could fold a swan to save my life. I feel like I'm in like a spaceship or a cruise ship from the next century. This is amazing. I would totally hop in there like I normally would, but of course, unlike when I'm normally invited to film a suite like this, and by the way, look at the size of that throne room. That usually happens when somebody's already left the room or their party has checked out, and then I kind of come in afterwards, clean things up, and do a little tour. In this case, actually people staying here tonight, so I don't want to get my dirty feet into their fresh, clean, romantic bathtub. Oh my gosh, this is insane. All we've seen so far, too, is it downstairs. I mean, this is nuts. I mean, look at that. There's 4 people over there, and they take up absolutely none of this space. You could have 20, 30 people in a place like this, and it would just feel like a normal party. This was some tonal whiplash thing from my house to Disneyland to the warehouse over there with all that stuff, and then to this. My mind is absolutely blown. It's just impossible to show the scale of it. It's too huge. It is absolutely massive. There's 4 of you in here, which would be a lot in a normal hotel room. And the place feels like completely empty, like an airport lobby. I mean, it's huge. Taylor Swift could park one of her planes on this balcony out here. Incredible. Maybe that's why they built it, right? It's the Taylor Swift special. Anyway, I guess there's another suite just like this, straight upstairs from it. I don't know if there's a 3-story one, but this 2-story one right here feels like it's 3 stories. It's just got huge high ceilings. You notice even though I'm terrified of heights, well, I'm not terrified of heights, I just get the vertigo and then I get terrified of heights. I keep being drawn out here to this balcony because it's massive. And since this building never existed, I've never seen the Disneyland Hotel from this perspective anymore. This is so cool. Okay, we don't have all night because we got to let them get to bed at some point, so we might as well go upstairs. I forgot. We haven't even gone upstairs yet. Dude, look at this spiral staircase with these amazing mid-century starbursts just cut out all along the side. This is so freaking epic. And there is actually a separate doorway to get to the outside from up here, but dude, look at this view of the living room from up here. You can start to get a sense of just how massive it is. I mean, well, let's face it, you knew I was going to say this.
Would you look at the size of this room?
It's got a gargantuan. Oh, I can see in the reflection here, some more of their friends have arrived to check this place out. Okay, while everybody's downstairs and we're not in anybody's way, let's go check out one of these other rooms up here. Oh my gosh, look at that headboard there. It's not even a headboard, it's like a wall mural. Pull out couch right here, 2 queen beds. They might even be king beds, it's hard to tell. Again, hard to get a sense of scale in here. Look at those light fixtures, TV remote. This is just amazing. Oh, and look at that. Look at the lamp up there. I'm sure it's hard to see, but that is so cool. Look at another mirror right there. You can check yourself out. Got a whole closet right here. I can see the light on inside of it. Here's one of those upstairs balconies I was talking about. And there's like a desk area, a couch. So even this upstairs room is like its own little mini suite. Every room's got an ensuite bathroom. Look at the size of that shower right there. Beautiful mirror. This is obviously the frozen room because I can see all the different frozen. I love how they have these mirrors facing each other, like infinity mirror action going on right there. Oh yeah, when you look at yourself in the mirror, it's like you're in a tunnel of infinity. Oh, looks like we got Elsa's toilet or Anna's toilet. Somebody's toilet. This is just gorgeous, man. I cannot believe places like this exist. So this is the benefit of being a DVC member, man, and saving up your points. I am not a member. I still have absolutely no idea how it works, and Adam has tried to explain it to me millions of times. Dude, this landing up here is just a landing for the spiral staircase that overlooks this. Even considering it's cut off here, from here to that door, this landing is literally bigger than my living room, dining room, kitchen, everything put together in my house. Not that it's my house, but the house I rent, you know what I mean? Look at this crazy mid-century modern piece of furniture there, and then look at that stone kind of back wall, accent walls, like curved out. That's what we were seeing from the outside of the room. And then, okay, oh, there's a little closet up here. Look at this huge walk. Look at this freaking walk in the closet. Now I'm in the closet. Now I'm in the closet too. This closet is bigger than the second bathroom in my house. Almost. Wait a minute, that's a closet. What the heck is this? Another closet! Oh my gosh! Come stay here, you can have all the closets you want. Okay, there's one more room up here to check out. Look at this Moana room. Each one of these bedrooms in the suite is like a suite of its own. Once again, you got all the beautiful artwork on the wall. Check out all the cool Polynesian patterns in this kind of back piece to the TV. Once again, you got your own mirror here. You can do a little makeup out of the bathroom so somebody else can use the bathroom. Another big closet unit up there. Another balcony. I love that piece of artwork right there. Look at this manta ray, all these Polynesian patterns. It's actually sunk in, so like it's 3-dimensional. This piece of artwork, you got those beautiful stylized waves. Oh, I love the beds. Just the style, the little mid-century accents, the Polynesian rug in here. I didn't even notice the rug changing. And then like the thatch pattern to the headboard. That's so cool. Oh, and then look, starfish-shaped lights. So it's all themed out. Like, it doesn't feel like it at first. You just, oh, cool, you know, nice and modern, nice and clean. And then you start to notice there's a lot of attention to detail. You got those infinity mirrors, once again, with an awesome Polynesian pattern right there. Another cool walk-in shower. And I love that tile, like the color of that tile right there. And then, you know, check that throne room out. Once again, Maui's throne room. You got your little Polynesian village right there. This is just... oh man, King Kamehameha suite in the Polynesian, which is the old presidential suite for that place. It's been there since 1971. It's kind of the premier room of Walt Disney World. It took me years to get in there. I just went in there this past year. It is laid out very similar to this. It's almost like they took that for a model, like the best suite at Disney World, but then they wanted to 10x it, dude. They just wanted to take it up a notch. That's basically it. I mean, that's basically the rough tour of the main layout. Normally, if I was on my own, I'd go into a lot more detail, but this is one of those last-minute things where Kevin invited us to come and check out the suite. I didn't know if I was going to make it. Like I said, I've been having all these health issues. Sure, I'll pay for this tomorrow, but I had to keep the whirlwind going today, you know? Times get tough. The tough got to get going. It's the only way. It's the only way for me to keep my sanity when things get bad in the world, or for me personally, it's just to stay busy. That is how I actively fight depression, fight the good fight, fight anger, frustration, all those things, fear even when it comes to surgery and stuff like that. Just stay busy, keep going, keep grinding. This is the most insane juxtaposition between like the whole van I'm driving around and then hopping in here for the board meeting. All right, well, Kevin and his lovely wife Lisa are from Canada. That's why it's BC DeLorean. They got a bunch of movie cars up there and stuff like that. We've been talking about U.S.-Canadian relations and trying to solve the world's problems up here. But of course, we're not able to do it. It's above our pay grade. No, but seriously, we've been having fun hanging out. And I just met Lisa and Rick in there. They already knew them. So it's been cool kind of hanging out, getting to know each other. I'm glad that I was able to squeeze this into the day, but it is now after midnight. Everything is closing down. Even Trader Sam's will be empty soon. And like all good things, even tonight must come to an end. Like I said, I'm going to pay for this tomorrow, but I did manage to make it through today. Somewhat intact, got a little bit of a headache and a little dizzy, but I think that's because of this. Look, I'm not even close to it, and I'm still got vertigo. Help me! It's just unbelievable that something like this exists. And it's crazy. Because of DVC, even like regular people can just snag something like this if they save up their points, or at least that's my understanding. I don't know exactly how it works. I've never understood the whole DVC thing. A lot of numbers involved, and I'm not smart enough, I guess. I am smart enough to know this, although they generously offer to let me stay on one of the couch beds or something. I've done my duty here, and it's time for me to go home and sleep well. As this is the most insane room I've ever seen at the Disneyland Hotel or at the Disneyland Resort. Pretty wild to get to come see this, so special shout out and thank you to Kevin and Lisa and BC DeLorean. Also special shout out to our friend Corey for coming down and guiding us through the Grand Circle Tour auction. Today turned out to be a very interesting day, but now it's all over. If you want to help support the channel, go over to randomland.com. Everything's there, even links to the social media. and I'll see you guys next time.